Honkai Star Rail just released World 8 of the Simulated Universe, so today we're going to go over how to beat the boss of World 8, being Yanqing, as well as I'm going to give some character recommendations for who should be some really good characters to run in this world specifically. So I'm going to go phase by phase here for how to beat Yanqing. So starting with phase 1, this phase, like a lot of the other Simulated Universe bosses, it is relatively straightforward. For this phase, it is actually just a single target phase, which I feel like is kind of rare nowadays when it comes to enemies. Just the main things to focus on for this phase is that Yanqing's attacks do have a chance to freeze, and he does also have like a charge-up attack, kind of similar to the way that the Ebendir in World 7 has a charging attack, but for this one, Yanqing will do his charge, and then the next turn he'll activate his Cascading Laceration, which will do a lot of damage to a single enemy or a single target on your team. So it definitely is good to try to sort of get through phase 1 before he's able to use that Cascading Laceration. I mean, unless you're doing unless you're running like a preservation character that can tank it, but it is usually better to just blitz through that as fast as you can and then go from there. Then moving on to phase 2, we have Yanqing. He's going to summon his flying swords around him, which I'm sure if you've done your Memory of Chaos and then the Yanqing story fight, you'll know about these flying swords. And whenever the swords are out, you can't reduce Yanqing's toughness until the swords are defeated. And outside of that, being annoying, having to defeat the swords, he can still use the Cascading Laceration move, and you just have to be careful with that, as well as being able to be hit by the 4 flying swords as well. So more options for him to do damage to you, but outside of that, nothing really too crazy for like gimmicks. Then moving on to phase 3, he will once again summon 4 more flying swords. Even if you had some that were still there at the end of phase 2, he should summon them. But this time for phase 3, the flying swords do have a buff where their own toughness gauges will be increased, and also they'll have a higher chance for the flying sword attacks to freeze. So another reason why you got to be really careful in this fight, because you are going to get frozen, and if you're not able to deal with that or cleanse that, that can be a pretty big problem. And in this phase, he is able to use his Cascading Laceration, but in addition, he also does have a second charge type attack, which he is able to use only in phase 3, which is called Ethereal Dream Flux. So he'll do his charge for it, called Chi Convergence. That'll last. It's a 2-turn charge, so you have a bit more time to deal with it. And while the initial damage the base damage of Ethereal Dream Flux is a bit lower than Cascading Laceration, Ethereal Dream Flux will actually gain additional damage based on how many flying swords are on the field currently. So it's very easy for it to do way more damage than Cascading Laceration if you have those flying swords out. So definitely try to focus on getting rid of those flying swords before attacking Yanqing, or if you're running a character that can attack both, the Yanqing and then also the adjacent flying swords, or just AoE attacking, that'll probably be your best bet there. But now to move on to some character recommendations, just based on Yanqing's weaknesses, as well as the characters I think are going to be helpful for cleansing, because I do think having a cleanse will be very good for this. So first weaknesses, starting with lightning. I try to have at least one 4-star in most of these, just for people to be able to use characters that they have. I know not everyone's going to have every 5-star. For lightning, you can use Kafka, who I think is very strong, and I used for my team. I ran like a DOT type team. You can also run Jing Yuan if you have him, or as like a free-to-play option for a lightning character that can deal a little bit of damage. Maybe definitely not as much as like Kafka and Jing Yuan and whatnot. You can also run Serval if you're earlier in the game. Then when it comes to win characters, I think the 2 best are probably going to be Blade if you're running just like a standard DPS kind of team, and if you're running a dot team, or you want to run him as a sub DPS, you can run Sampo. So yeah, I think they're probably the best win options right now in terms of just like damage dealers. Then when it comes to Imaginary, Imbiber, Lune, and Well, I do think are the 2 best Imaginaries. But as a 4-star option, you do have Yukong as well in the game, who will also be very helpful for buffing up your characters. And then for cleansing, because I do think being able to get rid of those freezes is going to be very important. You can definitely run, for 5 stars, you have Bronya who has a cleanse, as well as buffing your support characters. Locha as a healer with cleanse, Lynx as a 4-star healer with cleanse. Then you also have Natasha, who's a free healer and also has cleanse. And then Fu Xuan, while she doesn't have cleanse, she does also have the ability to resist crowd control debuffs. So she can resist that freeze for the entire team as well. So yeah, overall, I do think that if you're able to bring the proper team and kind of speed through each phase of Yanqing, you really shouldn't have too much of a problem dealing with them. It's pretty much as long as if you give him time to charge up his moves and do all that damage to you, that's when this fight can get really tough. But if you do have a good team and you're able to get through him, as well as having good blessings and curios and things of that nature, you're gonna be able to just get through World 8 pretty easily. So yeah, I hope this guide helped you all out. If you enjoyed and you haven't already, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. And with that, I will see you all next time.